Hello guys, welcome back once again. This time I'm going to continue with the BTS members. Ideal romantic partner. What are the um, they're like in this archetypical of personality traits. What do they like? What kind of traits do they want their ideal partner to have according to their opinions, their experiences, their points of view? Remember that there's always a difference between what you want and what you need. It sounds like the lyrics of a song, but it's actually truth. Sometimes we dream or we fantasize of a certain type of person that will make us happy or will probably be the right for us, the perfect person for us. And sometimes it happens that maybe those traits are great, but they are not, they don't teach us anything. So, like I always say, in difference we can find each other. And when we overcome sometimes the awkwardness of finding someone that maybe is different to ourselves, maybe thinks or sees things in different ways, we can open our mind and our perception, and we can grow a lot. So when it comes to our personal preferences, when it comes to our love life, it depends, especially when we are really young. It depends on, I don't know, from what we have seen in a movie, from what we had seen our parents experienced, from what we had experienced ourselves, maybe with our first love, or maybe with our first relationship, or maybe our non-existent love life. So when it comes to Yoongi and with these archetype cards that I'm using, that I want to remind you, these are cards that talk about different types of archetypes. This is not for divinatory use. This is not that I am predicting something. It's just that I pull them so we can get to know a little bit about what traits he finds important. So, the cards that came out for Yoongi, it's liberator, samaritan, messiahs, a slave, and mentor. Let's start with liberator. Being a liberator, it's almost having this ability also not to free others or to liberate others from evil things, or maybe for things that are not good for them. It's also to sometimes being a rebel and being able to speak up or say, have a say in important matters that are about important causes, defending important causes, to be able to stand up and say, yes, I'm going to take my free time to, I don't know, to join this group that they are talking about this, from Greenpeace to any kind of environmental issue or environmental group. It means that this what he finds perfect in someone's in this trait especially is for that person to be able to be free for themselves, and to also give others the possibility of experiencing freedom while releasing old expectations or maybe obsolete systems of beliefs, or maybe when you are sometimes too obtuse, or when you are too stubborn, and you don't learn and you don't want to know anything, and it's like you are incapable of making um, decisions that will lead you to that freedom. It's like he admires someone that can inspire others to be their own liberator in their lives. It's like to break chains of thoughts, chains of structured thinking, of limited beliefs, of those things that tie you up to living a life according to what others tells you that life is about, and not being able to you be brave enough to experience your own experience, and building your own traditions, and not being like always sustaining and defending maybe beliefs that, yes, maybe they are part from your family, they are part from they are heritated, but at the same time it's like you have to wonder, is it for me? Do I really feel identified with this cause? Or do I do it because it's a must, or it's a family value, or whatever? So he definitely admires a liberator in that sense. That also is someone that can eliminate and cut off the negative thinking. You know, when you are sometimes in an argument, especially when you are gathered with other people, and it's like everyone is like talking bad about each other, and it's like everyone is like, oh yes, you this, you that, and this kind of liberator archetype is the one that with just one word would come out and would cut everyone. I mean, would stop the BS, would stop the finger pointing. I mean, just take responsibility for your own actions and stop giving others a bad time, a tough time, just because you don't feel good about yourself. Is to eliminate negative thoughts, negative patterns of behavior. So definitely a visionary in that sense. And I believe that this ability for this person to be able to eliminate negative thinking, I believe that he would like that person to do that to him too, because I know that sometimes when he gets too perfectionist, or when he gets too caught up in his own thoughts and emotions, it's like he becomes really negative and he shuts down a lot. So I believe that maybe a liberator kind of archetype would help him to open up a little bit, and to be able to stop being negative, or maybe stop being a pessimist, and that person would liberate him from staying in that state for too long. Because when you shut down too much, it's not good, it's not a comfortable place, and it's not useful at all. The next card is the Samaritan. So definitely he likes someone that is really like that has this ability and this desire to help others. It's someone that is really selfless in that way, and that gives other people, especially underground and people that are not considered, or maybe are not seen, to give those people um, the possibility of being helped and not being ignored again. So to help the less fortunate, the people that doesn't have the same opportunities as others, maybe because of their background, maybe because they are poor, maybe because they live in a very foreign country, and it's like no one knows about their culture or something like that. It's like he wants he pays attention to the kind of person that gets out of their own way to go and help someone. It's that kind of gesture that that he pays really, because he's really observant, but he pays really attention to that, to how far would you go if you had to help someone. But in order for you to help someone, you will have to get out of your own comfort zone, because it's like it's not your neighbor, it's not your brother or sister. It's actually a stranger that is asking for help. Would you help them? How would you do it? You know, it's he definitely is really smart in that sense. He doesn't, he cannot stand posers, and he cannot stand those that say that they are, yes, that they are really generous, when actually all they do is feeding their own egos. So he hates that, he despises that. So he believes that action speaks louder than words. So in his case, words, he used them to to create music. But I mean, when it comes to real life, he values a lot gestures. What you do with what you have. Um, you can be influential, you can be important for someone, you can be a hero in your own community. You don't need to travel the world and give expensive gifts to be considered like a good Samaritan, or maybe like a generous person. Um, and the next card that came out, it's Messiahs. So Messiahs, it's, yes, it's actually, I believe that he had this card when I did his first reading. He had this. He had Messiahs and Midas. So he likes someone that that has this ability to serve others, and not to be selfless, and not be cocky, or not be like too proud to be it. It's just that someone that serves all humans with humility, with being able to be humble always. Being humble is what counts. It's how you perform that good deed. Are you being humble, or are you being like a pretender? And he definitely can sense. I believe that maybe because he is very spiritual, and he's really sensitive, he can tell if you are truly a saver. If you are, if you're truly doing it because you believe that it's a spiritual, that is your calling. Because there are people that really, maybe they don't believe in anything. They do not have a religion. Maybe they do not have any kinds of ideologies, but somehow, what they do have in mind is that they want to take an action to help others, and to make others feel better in moments of distress, in moments of struggling. So he values a lot that. And the last card that came out, it's a slave, which slave, it's a really strong word. I'm not talking about the slavery, so to say, but this is a kind of archetype. That's why it's here. Actually, I'm really glad that I mean, there are really some archetypes that are really strong, and I had always like warned you about it. There are some archetypes that they are really hard. I think I pulled out one that was the prostitute archetype. So the archetypes are like collective kinds of types of personality traits, and also they do have like a bright side, and they have a negative side. So whenever you have like these kinds um, of of sometimes these kind of archetypes that sound a little bit like harsh, it doesn't mean that you literally embody this archetype. It's just that this archetype has a teaching, has a lesson for you to learn. Some people, maybe they seem so nice on the outside, and inside they, I don't know, they have the slave mentality, or they have like this martyr mentality. So it's like the yin and the yang. We are not just the bright and the happy side of ourselves. We also have negative, and we have a shadow. We have a darker side that we also need to explore, and we need to name it, and we need to integrate it, because we are not all sound and lights and like beautiful flowers and rainbows. There's we human, um, we have a lot of different shades. Sometimes we feel really bright and we feel really happy, and sometimes we feel really down and we feel really terrible about ourselves. So it's nice to be able to put it into words. I use them with my clients, and actually this is a great self-discovery tool. It's really interesting and it's really deep. Of course, it's a lot of hours of work, it's a lot of days of work. It's not something like what I'm doing right now, that is really like an express reading, that is like I'm pointing out the cards and its meanings. But in the case of working with them, they have a meaning for why you had that card. For example, there are feminine archetypes and there are masculine archetypes, and sometimes you can be a female and a male archetype can come out, and that's also valid. So it's not that there's something wrong with you. That's why a not so bright card comes out. And in this case of a slave, it's about to be able to give away your power of election to divinity, and to be really confident about it. I believe that in this is about believing in destiny, and almost someone that is a believer of those things. I mean, a believer, maybe someone that is really spiritual, someone, because I had mentioned that he likes someone that is really selfless, because the Samaritan card came out too, and the Messiah too. So maybe he definitely likes someone that is spiritual, but not spiritual in the sense of following a doctrine or following a certain religion. I don't know if Yoongi is religious. I believe that maybe his family is, but he doesn't believe in anything. But at the same time, there's a part of him, since he's really intuitive and he is really like a psychic, I believe that he's really interested in people that have their spiritual side more developed than him, and that he would really nurture himself a lot, and he would find sense, and he would be able to master his intuition more if he would get into a relationship with someone that is really spiritual, and has all kinds of rituals, and has like an interesting spiritual point of view about life. Someone that it's like is not trying to control anything, just goes with the flow, and is always able to see blessings, even though sometimes in harsh times you cannot see it. Because I have the feeling that he is a pessimist. I mean, that he is a bit of atheist, but somehow he's attracted to these kinds of beliefs. And he doesn't say anything, but actually I think he would like someone that is kind of a hippie. I know the word is not a hippie, but maybe someone that is into new age spirituality. Maybe a tarot reader, a tarot reader, or maybe like someone that can heal with their hands, or someone that is, I don't know, a holistic therapist, and that has, I'm not sure in Korea if there are some, I don't know, but he finds it fascinating. But at the same time, he's really afraid to go into those places because I believe that, I don't know, because I don't know about Korea. I don't know about how Korea handles spirituality. I know they have their own shamans and stuff, but from what I could see, that I don't know if it's the reality, because we have to take into consideration that sometimes news and sometimes, I don't know, K-dramas are dramatic, but I believe there are some kinds of churches and maybe some kinds of people that call themselves shamans that are actually that they trick people and that they take people's money, and actually it's all acting. And there are also other kinds of church where they supposedly they take people in, and they are really like accepting and everything, and they scam them with them, well, they steal their money or stuff, and they take everything away from the family until the family it's too dependable on them, and that's their power. So I don't know about, but I believe that if this person was a spiritual, I believe it would be someone who enjoys being in nature and believes in nature, believes in the science of nature, believes in Mother Earth, something like that. Someone really, but really spiritual, but you know those kinds of people that are born intuitive, that are born with that gift. I believe that's what he finds attractive and he finds fascinating, because I have the feeling that he is one of those people himself. He has a gift since he was born, but he somehow doesn't use it because there's some things that he doesn't want to see about others. And I had said this in a reading that I done about him. I believe it was the first individual reading that I done about him, that he is really spiritual. Sometimes he's too in tune with other people's energies, that's why he cannot make eye contact. Sometimes I cannot do it myself, because it's like I can see through the person's eyes. It's like I can see what they went through, and it's really, I find it really, not only that it absorbs my energy, it's just that it's I find it like I'm being intrusive, like I'm getting to their energetic field, and that I'm trespassing somehow, and that I shouldn't. So I don't know. I find eye contact with some people really hard. I try not to do it, especially with people that are lying. I find it like I cannot do it, or people that maybe are like actors or something like that. That they are too over the top, fake people. It's like I cannot do it. Because if I see it, I have to point it out or I have to say something. So I don't want to hurt anyone's susceptibility. And the last card that came out for him, it's a mentor. So yes, he's looking for someone that can teach him. I mean, his ideal romantic partner would be someone that is into spirituality and that somehow can mentor him to get more in tune with this aspect, can take him under their wing and just guide him go through all the process, and that it can help him to liberate himself also from old systems of beliefs. So there's something about religion. I have this perception, I have this intuition that somehow Jungi's family is or was
involved. They were like active members in a church, and somehow that priest or that the man that ruled the church betray everyone, and it's like he steal a lot of money, and he also done very very bad things and to everyone in their community. So I have a feeling that he has that experience very fresh in his memory, so he doesn't trust religion when it comes from big institutions. He doesn't believe in the institutions of religions, or maybe those those religions that are really into, yes, the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, or evangelic, or it can be Catholic, and it can be other, that are just too, like I said, everyone has. I was born and raised a Catholic, but I don't use it in my everyday life. But I had always said this, and I don't want to disrespect anyone, but I always had this feeling that it's like everyone has their own little book about how history went down, and about how their church or how their own religion has the whole truth and the revelations that the other religion doesn't have it. So I'm like, aren't we supposed to be ruled by one God or one goddess? Because we don't know. It could be male, it could be female, it could be both. So it's like there's this spirituality should be free, uh, should set people free, should not place them against each other, because it's not a competition. It's not a real estate competition. It's not about that. Oh yes, my little book has more history than yours, and it's like, why? Like, why? What's the point? So I don't know. And I believe he feels a little bit like that he feels that spirituality, it's something that you experienced, and it's something that you cannot put into words, but sometimes if you try hard enough to connect with the source, and we are the source because we are made by God, so we are made by Him, so we are connected to our Creator. Um, and we need to go back to our source without any interruptions, or without any intermediate. I don't know how to say it in Spanish, but it's like those peoples that are like a mediator that wants to, like, yes, come with me and pay me I don't know, a few hundreds a month, and I will show you what spirituality is. And it seems like you have to pay a lot of money to be quote unquote religious, or to be a good person, and it's not about that. It's about, because not every human in this earth has the same ability and possibility to pay to enter a church, or to be part of a community. There are a lot of people that are vulnerable, and I think that this is what he's attracted to. He's attracted to someone that can help others without being like, oh yes, I helped you. You remember I helped you? Remember I helped you? Remember I did this for you? So you owe me. That he definitely he doesn't like that attitude. So I don't know if maybe he had experienced these kinds of or him with his family. Maybe it's when he was really young, they struggled with money, and somehow they were dependent on a church or in a community that could help them, and somehow these people like turned their backs on them, or expect them to, or maybe they were like, oh yes, you owe me this amount of money because I helped you once. And it's like they created like a really big debt that his parents couldn't pay back. So there's something about religion and money that he just hates it, and he's not comfortable with that side of spirituality. But he's looking for someone different, for someone that can guide him into a more spiritual and more free kind of expression of his own gifts and his own healing powers that he has in his own. So I'm going to leave it, guys, here. The next one is going to be Jin. I'm after Suga. I will be doing and recording Jin, so I will see you in the next video. Bye.